Why hello there, fellow botanists. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Space Haven. Episode 3, Growing Food and Improving Leisure. Doctors are ready to help those in need? I think Marauder will pull through. Maybe he won't, but I hope he will. Alright, now that we do have the temperature thing going on, where we're in a hot system, so before we even add the grow room, let's also add some wall regulators here. We also might want a gas scrubber for the... Well, actually, no, not a gas scrubber. No, I guess it's fine. So we really need infra blocks and hull blocks. Hull blocks to expand. So infra blocks. How many infra blocks are here? High infra scrap. So we could buy some infra blocks if Crispy and Milk is selling them. They are not. I mean, they are, but not... I'll buy a few. I'm buying them because it's going to be important for us to start farming sooner than later. I don't want to necessarily wait for it. Because the sooner we start farming, the more self-sufficient we are. I would say hugely self-sufficiency is the way forward in Space Haven. Because if you're not self-sufficient, it's very easy to die. And Jackson, thank you for the resub. Cheers. All right, Marauder's in an especially bad mood. So here's what I'm going to do. Schedule. Marauder, you are going to magically have a day of free time. Just to relax today. Schedule him just to chill. Now, I know a lot of the bedrooms are getting messed up due to the back wall hull expansion here, which we will subsequently fix. Again. Another thing we're gonna... Well, actually, we don't really need lights in there. The grow beds are their own lights. You're expecting more from Marauder's parasite attack? I mean, he's like... not doing great. Alright, critical resources low of hull blocks. Yes, I know. Now, I'm gonna wait until we... Actually, let's start growing now. So, the grow beds. Fruit requires botany 4, root, vegetables botany 1, and nuts and seeds botany 5. And these all provide different things to your diet. Carbohydrates, sugars, you know, things like that. And it's important to have a balanced diet. In other words, because if you don't have a balanced diet, you're going to run into, like, problems with your colony. And the thing is, some things are lower yield. So, like, root, vegetables, nuts, and seeds are higher, more food per grow day. So fruit is, like, in other words, kind of inefficient to grow. But I'm going to grow it anyway because it's important to get our vitamins. We don't want, like, scurvy. So on all the beds, I'm going to have like a little variety of things. And you know what? I just realized I don't have anyone with botany 5. All right. What is our highest botanist? 3? Okay, let's retool this. We're going to have some food deficiencies, or we'll have to trade for the stuff that we need. But for now, it's going to have to be root vegetables everywhere. Basically, potato meta until Glitch gets better at botany. Not by me. And Glitch, your priorities, I'm going to raise botany up so that we actually get you to be planting stuff. There we go. And these will tell you their temperature optimal, light optimal, CO2 optimal. But pretty soon we're going to want to get a CO2 producer for them because they will be converting CO2 in the ship at a high rate. Also, a lot of people are pissed. A lot of this is due to moderate discomfort and no entertainment, and that's exactly why I'm and a uncomfortable leisure zone, because usually the leisure zone is less comfortable now. Some of this is just maybe I have the doors open. But yeah, we are going to want to fix the leisure area, which is going to be over here anyway. That's what the other side was being designed for. And a lot of that is just like, we need to build the walls. We're lacking the walls to enclose things, and it's causing it to be open and upsetting. Almost done with salvaging the first ship, though. Okay, we have some entertainment. So with this entertainment, I am going to put in an arcade machine. High priority construction. And then my next research will be Botany 2 for the CO2 producer. And now Marauder can, like, play on the arcade because he is still not really on a work day. But Ultrat is building the walls that we need to enclose the pod room, which is going to provide a big benefit once that's done. I'm fortunate that the, I haven't gotten a lot of thermal radiation. The temperature in the ship has been mostly stable. It could have been a lot worse. So I need one more infra block in order to build the fifth, or the third, grow bench. And as you can see, the leisure comfort here is a lot higher now. So they're going to be a lot happier with it now that the pod room is, like, cordoned off. Because this pod room sucks to be in. It's loud, noisy, nasty. Not a good environment. The Mooj should start stabilizing. Marauder still has, like, some health issues, but they're mostly concluding. Mostly. Alright. As far as scheduling goes, let's put him back on a normal schedule and see if he fares well. So copy and paste. Back to a normal work day so that we can try to get more work done. Enclosing bedrooms and our grow room. Now, the water vapor collector, I'm going to move into our grow room. I might end up having two of them, but for now, we'll put that one in the grow room. And when are we done? We are just about done with everything except for a little bit of hull scrap. So we're almost done salvaging this rig. And we have another cultist coming back in. It might be even the same guy. Jazz leveled up in construction. That's nice. Bedroom is missing a wall. It is not. It is just a... It just looks that way. But technically this is a hall, so it's walled in. And if we take a look at the comfort here, sleep comfort, it's all fine. I mean, it's... You know, it's all green. The other thing we could do for mood, now I think about it, is we have 15 soft blocks. Yeah, that's fine. So we can start decorating. So the bedside tables would make the bedrooms nicer, but they cost infra blocks, which we're using to build our farms. But the decorations we build with, like, tools. So let's put in a few decorative screens. maybe a green wall. Actually, let's do 2 green walls. And I will, I'll end up, probably moving these to, like, a new mess hall, down the line. I can't even click that. Okay. Let's cancel. So some decorations here. Another thing they requested was windows. And I'll put in windows once we have like a proper mess hall area, leisure area. All right, we are on high thermal radiation right now, so I'm just taking a look. It's a little hot, but it's manageably hot. We could use maybe another thermal. So life support, thermal reg, I'll stick one there for now. And I think we are completely done with this, yep, we're done with this here entirely. Alright, trade. New trade. This is crispy milk again. I would like another infra block. And then... I might sell them some... Nah, there's really nothing to sell them. So I'll just take one more infra block. And we'll unpause this last grow bed. Nice. So the new hull is done. We actually expanded all the way out. Good. If we take a look at the scheduling here, we're just at about the end of the workday. And tomorrow morning, I'll try to go over to the other derelict and clear it and claim it. So this area here was intended to be a rec room, and I'll add that to the priorities. Now that the grow room is basically done, build a rec dining room is the current priority. Do they gain skills by doing tasks or training only? Both. So we're going to be moving our kitchen over here. But before we even move the kitchen, let's go ahead and make it nicer. So do a hall window so they can look outside here. And we'll put the mess hall, like, around the hall window. Not all this is going to be a mess hall. Like, I might move the medical facility here rather than have it be here. Because here is kind of like the bridge. It's a weird spot for it. But, yeah, we're going to move it over there. After they take their breakfast. Just looking at the cost of the service for him. Alright, get the last grow table in. Alright, so we actually have a window now. So if we open up our expander walls overlay, as you can see, there's like natural light coming in. It's a nicer area to be in. And what we're going to be doing is, I'm actually going to break down and dismantle these tables. And instead... put in... I like kind of a rounded look. Put a table there. Put in a wall light. And then start moving the chairs. And this is going to be the crew leisure area. And I'll be walling this off once everything is moved. And we'll also put the kitchen over here, which means wall will go in here. Move the arcade over there. And then we can have a door maybe there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to split this. So arcade, do not move there. Arcade, move here. Put a door here and a door there. So you can split this area into two for a medical room and a, like, a research room. I don't think... I'm not... maybe I'll put wall windows, but I don't think I will be able to hit it. Oh, I can? Okay. That'll work. That's going to be a much nicer spot to be in. For the crew. Some crew comforts. And now that that's moving... We'll put a green wall in back there. And as I said, your crew will, like, completely fall apart without some, like, crew comforts. So, although it seems like a luxury, without it, you are, like, doomed. Truly doomed. I will need more infra blocks to be able to finish off the doors here, though. It's fine. This light will move to the medical room. And then we'll put another light in for the research room. That's a hell of a view you're going to have there, pal. Sweet. So it's an ugly sin ship, but it's like laid out reasonably. All right, if we take a look at the work zones, work comfort zones, this is a pretty, it's a pretty decent place to work. If we take a look at the leisure zone, I need the doors in here because the research lab's bleeding in. So that's exactly what we're going to do. How much time is in? Oh, it's 20. Never mind. Tomorrow morning, we're going to clear out the other. Actually, you know what? You guys are not. You're well rested. It's fine. Draft. Into the craft. And board. All right, red lights are on. And it's robots. Robots cannot be exploited with the whole, like, you can't path to me, I'm floating in space deal, like bugs can. So overwhelming them with good weapons, have decent armor, and good numbers is really the way to go. Because we're absolutely going to get burned and hurt here, without a doubt. And Glitch just got blown up, too. I'm going to have Glitch back up a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and do this in shifts. So, first wave is done. We got 3 robots down, but, like, Glitch is obviously going to need some medical attention, so I'm going to, let's go to the priorities here. And medical priorities, Marauder is the other really high medical priority. So Marauder, I'm going to override you for 2 hours so that you work. So you do some extra medical attention for Glitch. So he's in pain with a burn injury that needs a medical bed to heal. And we do have another military alliance ship coming in. So we can maybe buy the infra blocks that we need for these doors. Because I don't think I have any more infra scrap to break down. Nope. But Glitch is stabilized. Oh, speaking of which, what is your current skill level for botany? 3 still? 3.5? So, root vegetables all the way down. Now, one of the other things we're going to need to solve pretty early on is we're going to run out of fertilizer really soon. And we're going to need a way to compost it. So another research to queue up. We already have botany queued up, which is the CO2 producer. But then after that, we're going to get the composter. And then after that, we are going to go for the chem refinery. Composting gives you a little bit of fertilizer by composting your dumps from the toilet. But chemical refinery gives you way more compost. Or way more fertilizer, to say. And that's, you know, running out of food happens pretty early on. Water, you can usually mine a pretty good amount, but food, you do run out of pretty quickly. So that's why I wanted to focus on food. Are there skill books for training? There are, like, learning tables, learning computers for it. Alright. You have cheap infrablocks. Look at that. I'll buy 4 of them, thank you. And then I'll sell 2 root vegetables, because you'll pay a premium for that, and I'm growing tons of root vegetables. Yeah, that'll work, I guess. And I'll also buy 1 carbon. Alright, if we take a look at the ship's water vapor... Okay, it's pretty uniform. CO2 count, safe, and safe. Okay. That all looks good for now. Now let's go ahead and move this bad boy. And then I'm just going to dismantle all of this, as I just slapped it in there temporarily before. Never really intended to be a thing. Alright, CO2 producer's done. Let's get one of those in. So in the food tree, you have the CO2 producer, and CO2 producers will produce CO2 for your farms by burning carbon, essentially. Good old-fashioned coal power. So you load them up with coal, or carbon, and it increases plant growth in the zone. Because eventually, in an enclosed environment, your plants will chew up all the CO2 in the room. And the other thing I'm going to do is these doors are vents as well, and I'm going to lock the vents. So this is an enclosed system. And the reason is, the CO2 we produce in the farm, I don't want our gas scrubber just to remove from the atmosphere. It doesn't really make sense to add and remove CO2 in one ship. So if we open up the vents overlay, as you can see, these 2 vents are forced closed. All the other vents are open. So that the grow room is on its own individual zoning, if you will. And that comes with some other benefits, which is if there was a fire, let's say, that broke out in the ship, the smoke would not freely travel into our crops. Because when you have like smoke or other contaminants, it will basically instantly kill your crops, which wastes a lot of fertilizer, water, and time. So in this way, you can avoid mass crop loss due to fires and other pollutants or breaches or whatever else. All right, let's take a look again at Leisure Zone. Leisure Comfort, fantastic. Sleep Comfort, pretty good. Solid. And everyone's just about all healed up from the injuries they sustained, so... As much as Glitch is probably like, boss, don't send me back out there. Sorry, dude. Also, what is this? Oh, medical cabinet. Right. Alright, take a bandage, just in case. I forgot I had a med cabinet there. Let's also, now that I'm staring at that, move the medical cabinet to the hospital room. I think that's a sensible place to put it. Alright, wave number 2 on the robots. There might not have even been more robots here. Nope, there wasn't. I just needed to explore it more. Alright. Grab everything, because we're poor. Transfer everything, because none of it's illegal. And we're good. Strip the ship. Alright, the research room is getting a little chilly, so I'm going to put a wall regulator in there. I have 1 wall regulator in my farm, but I might want 2. It is the room that is, like, requires a particularly high level of temperature stability. Not really, but yeah. Does that make me a stripper? It makes me, yeah, let's go with yes. For tax purposes. So the average mood of the crew jumped from like 13 or whatever it was, 19 to 50. 50 is not even that great, but it's a lot higher than it was. And I will say, I think the leisure is done, right? Like this level 1 of the leisure room. I'm trying to think if there's really anything. I guess I could put personal entertainment in there as well. For single user activities. It wouldn't hurt to like stick a little personal computer in the corner. I don't have the info block yet, but I'm sure I'll scrap it in a minute. And that will be the last thing I do to the leisure room. I also wouldn't mind necessarily getting that walled off from the rest of the ship. For like gas leaks, smoke, you know, just the bad atmosphere bleeding in, because it does bleed in. So with that said, let's go ahead and go to wall. I'm going to move this light a little bit, so let's move this light over here, and then put a wall right there, boxing it off from the rest of the base. I could also potentially include a jukebox, yeah. Yeah, put that there. I'm not... I'll put the sound on, it's fine. You have a zero-tolerance approach to justice. Okay, Arbiter. Whatever you say. Anything I want to trade with them? New trade? I am willing to sell a Hyperion for a little bit of coin. Because I don't think we're going to have a jump... Like, our jumps are fine. They're not really selling anything at cheap costs... But I will buy 5 energy rods for later. Now, how are we looking here? Plenty of infra scrap left over, which is probably what we need the most. Good. And I'm hoping that mood continues to climb. So the discomfort here... Let's take a look at everyone. Minor discomfort. That might be like, being burned, or spacesuit fatigue, or uncomfortable leisure space. And some of this will fade over time as I'm increasing the comfort level of this area. So I'm pretty sure I already have a remedy in the mix. We just need to wait for it to... for the malices to start fading off. I like how they're still like, our goal is to protect the innocent and the law-abiding. I mean, yeah, so thanks, I guess, for not trying to kill me or something. I'm not really sure how to say thank you to that. I appreciate you not mugging me, dear lawman. Yo, can someone move this wall light already? Good lord. Alright, let's take a look at CO2 levels again. So, 24, 29. It's funny, the CO2 producer, it just maintains, like, at least an optimal level. It doesn't actually pump CO2 in, but we haven't actually pulled the CO2 out of the rest of the ship, which is fine. There we go. Dear lord, that took forever. Okay, wall there with a door here. And that will cordon off the leisure room. I'll put another light in there, and that should be good. Alright, so if we take a look again. Leisure comfort. Yep, okay. It is now a sanctuary. Quite a sanctuary. And that should start helping moods, and you can already see the moods jumped up by like 15 or something, 14 points. Okay, we're almost done salvaging this thing, which means that we're just, we're about ready to spool up or jump. All blocks are low, but it's fine. And then I don't have a lot of, raw chemicals. What are we making? Oh, for research. For the chemical refiner. Right. I should have aimed to buy those. You can also mine raw chemicals sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So if we aren't making any more progress on the chemical refinery, it kind of gets stalled due to lack of materials. So if you take a look at the research, and I didn't point this out earlier, certain research will have prerequisites besides just like spending time researching. So the chem refinery requires you to have 2 raw chemicals for experimentation. So you're not able to actually research it without that prerequisite. In this case, I also want to queue up solar panel pretty early on. So I'm going to move the chemical refinery to the bottom, knowing that I will indeed need to obtain some raw chemicals to start that up. But getting solar panels so that I'm less reliant on fuel that we have to actively burn would be pretty good. And the other thing I would really like to grab early on is smelting. So you can see all these are all the level 1 research, and getting industry is also a really good one. I mean, the production speed 5% isn't huge, but like it can be pretty useful. Let me zoom out a little bit more. I'm trying to think of other things. I don't want to have any like blind spots for things I'm absolutely going to need soon. But yeah, no, we'll go composting because I think fertilizer is going to be the next big bottleneck. We're already down to 5. I probably do want to incorporate an ore processor, so we can start mining a wider variety of ores. But I'm missing 4 infra blocks for that. But getting an ore processor in sooner than later is definitely going to be in the cards. Here's what we're going to do. Edit, build hall 1 and 2. Keep it symmetrical. And then also track when Glitch levels up his botany skills. So he's still at 3, but when he levels up, I'll be able to grow a wider variety of stuff, which is going to be really helpful for our diet. We're nearly done with all the salvage except for the hull scrap. Once the hull scrap's done, we'll bust on out of here. So the reason why I like to use an ore refinery early on is you'll end up with a lot of like asteroid fields where basic and exotic ores cannot be mined unless you have a way to refine them. And it's not that I'm trying to turn them into anything early on, because in order to have a lot of industry on your ship needs to get a lot bigger. It's that I can use them as a trade good. So we'll mine up basic ores and noble ores and exotic ores and things like that, just to turn them into like blocks for sale. So that we're not completely reliant on going to derelicts, because sometimes derelicts are just honestly too dangerous. A lot of the times you just need to know when to walk away from a derelict because it's going to end up getting you killed. So what I'm trying to do is get into a position where we can make money even if we don't want to risk derelicts, because I don't necessarily want to get people dead. And Glitch, thank you for the cheer, by the way. Oh, I guess you're in the hospital. Oh, for the burn wound? I don't even know why you're in the in your hospital bed. Not clear that you are injured in any way. But if you look at the average mood in the on the ship, it's up to 75. I've been doing a pretty good job of making sure that people are well taken care of now. All right, so are we done? Yes, we are totally done with that. All right, let's jump. Prepare to jump. And we're now at 2,400 out of 2,700 weight. And I only am noting this because it's like we can't expand too much farther or we will be overweight. So down here, we want to get here, right? Down here is like a farming station and the Exodus fleet, which we could use our prestige if we had any to call in favors, and a whole bunch of other ships. And you can see the Exodus fleet icon here. But I am going to make a stop here because this zone has a bunch of things that we could take. It's also worth noting that this is a scannable sector. I don't have a scanner yet, so it's kind of moot, but like a scannable sector is also like a point of interest for later. Just going to park myself in between all 3 of the asteroids and just go ham. I want all of it. And if I didn't have the ore, processor, I wouldn't have been able to get the exotic and basic ores from these zones. So I built the ore processor like exactly when I needed it, I guess. Okay, it is telling me that it is getting too hot back here. So I need more thermal regulators, and the problem with that is I am completely out of infra blocks to be able to support that. And that's because we are in a ridiculously high thermal zone. So yeah, stuff's cooking here pretty badly. I'm hoping that we have enough infra scrap that I could be able to build another 1 or 2 of those. But it looks like I only have hull scrap to process. So, outlook not so good. I think we're just gonna get cooked. Unless we break something down. So what is the temperature now? It's not great. At least it's cool in the leisure room. It's not even cool in the bedrooms, that's rough. Well, and Glitch, you are on the operations console. Why are you... Oh, because there's a bunch of meteorites trying to strike us. So yeah, let's mine this area out as fast as we can and then get the hell out. So here's our point defense, and our point defense is firing on these asteroids. One of the benefits of blowing up the asteroids is every now and then they'll drop like ores. Yeah, this is a symbol for asteroid hazard, and a symbol for thermal zones. And here, as you can see, Ochara and Marauder are wearing their suits because it's just simply too hot in the area. But the really important places to keep cool, like the farm, is fine. So, it's not great, but, you know, it could be worse. Alright, Glitch is now level 4. So once these root vegetables are grown, I am going to then plant some fruit in some of them. But yeah, what I want to do is I just want to mine everything as fast as I can and then leave. In the future, having a bunch of the thermal regulators to be able to stay in high thermal zones longer would be ideal. That way, we're not forced out of mining zones for reasons we can mitigate. But for now, it's cooking our butts, and we need to get up. Ship's too hot, just open a window? I mean, you can do that. I could hypothetically click on my airlock and go, hey, vent open. But that's going to cause a lot more problems than you'd think. Actually, no, you probably know exactly how many problems that's going to include. So the carburetor right now is to start producing fertilizer. As oddly enough, that's kind of an important one. So we're still getting the composter research, and getting fertilizers the big priority so that we can keep growing our food. So at the moment we have 92 days of oxygen, 15 days of power, 15 days of food. Power's going to go up as we like mine this energium over here. So it's really just trying to keep up with our food consumption. As you can see, we're producing a lot more root vegetables than we are using. But fruits, artificial meats, and nuts and seeds, not so much, because of the initial limited botany skills. But the idea is maybe we can find someone that wants to buy our nuts and seeds and then sell them and then buy what we need. Does anyone have a relationship with anyone else yet? Ah, Glitch and Marauder are friends. And that is it. All right, well, I mean, it's a start. Trade. Oh, they want my nuts and seeds. Speaking of which, so I'll sell 2 nuts and seeds to them and buy infra blocks and artificial meat. And I'll have to sell one other thing to make up the cost. I'll sell some hull blocks. Hull blocks I use to expand my ship. But with that said, they're one of the most common things to happen upon at salvage sites. So I'm not too worried about, like, you know, selling my hull blocks. We'll assuredly get a lot of... You tend to get a lot of infra and hull pretty quickly. And we're still working on... so here's... You can actually see the trade shuttles swapping. Still working on... oh, there we go. Exotic ore that we blew up from that asteroid. Still working on getting all the stuff mined up. Thank you for tuning in to Space Haven, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I am not, however, looking for feedback. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Haveners.